On this episode of the Who Is This podcast, brought to you by Double R Communications and Sierra Pacific Mortgage of the Gila Valley, Davis and I had the opportunity to talk to Tommy Christensen. Tommy is a great guy. Davis and I have known him since we were all kids. I grew up down the street from Tommy and his family, and just a really fun guy. Tommy's had some challenges in his life the last few years, some life-changing events. So he kind of tells us a little bit about that and what he's been going through and his new outlook on life. And we also talk about the event that he has coming up at the Lee Little Theater on EAC's campus. The event is March 27th at 11 a.m. and it's free to whoever wants to go. Tommy's gonna give about a 20-minute speech that he's prepared that I'm super excited to go and listen to. So enjoy. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Welcome to the Who Is This podcast.
No, this is dope. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, you bet. We're excited to have you on. I don't know if you know much about the podcast, but basically all it is we have different people around town come in and tell us about themselves, tell us their stories, and really share whatever they want to share. So it's it's whatever you want to talk about, man. It's your hour.
All right. You said it, not me.
Obviously, one of the main reasons we invited you on is because of this presentation you've got coming up, so we definitely want to get into that. But we've got Mr. Tommy Christensen with us.
Don't say that too loud. For real. What's up?
So I've known you for a long time, probably more than 20 years, and I feel like one of my favorite things about the podcast is even people that I've known forever, I find out so much about them just by being able to sit down with them and have an uninterrupted hour-long conversation with them. So it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited for this one. To get to know the real Tom.
Buckle up.
So yeah, man, let's hear it. Tell us about yourself.
I guess lost my parents when I was like 3 and 7. Got adopted by a family. It was kind of crazy. My mom told me she went out to dinner or lunch with her friends, and her friend was like, anyone want to adopt 3 kids? So she went home, talked to my dad. They drove the next day to Colorado and got us, and then brought us back. We were raised good values, did school, sports, all that stuff growing up.
So where were you born? You were born in Colorado?
I was born in a hospital. And
Thank you. That's good. Yeah.
I was born in Safford, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then you said they picked you up in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I went from, guess my dad had a stroke when I was living over in, what's the town by Bowie?
San
Simone?
No. Ghetto, like tiny.
Bowie?
Bowie, yeah.
Anyways, it's a town out that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And lived there for the first couple of years of my life, then moved to Colorado.
Gotcha.
And then to Arizona.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then graduated high school, moved to Colorado, lived life a little bit, and came back, served a mission, went back to Colorado, came back to Arizona. Yeah, just it was fun. It's been cool. A lot of crazy things, stories.
Yeah. I remember, because I grew up down the street from you, from Chad and Brenda, and went to we were in the same ward and everything. And I mean, I don't know how accurate my memory is, but I do remember a day in church where they came and there was 3 kids that hadn't been going to church with them before. So I remember when that kind of all went down, when they adopted you guys, and yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. I'm glad it happened for the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So back in Thatcher, what do you do now? What's the latest with Tommy?
So, taking a Spanish class. It's my first language. I forgot it, so I'm trying to relearn that. And I got diagnosed with MS a couple years ago, so that threw a twist in things. So I'm not working right now, just kind of chilling. Kind of sucks, kind of not.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, life's been a little tricky lately, but it's good. It's good.
Can you? And you don't have to if you don't want to. Can you go into like what some details on that, like what it's been like since being diagnosed, and what does that diagnosis mean?
Shit, it's like
I've heard of MS. I don't know a lot about it.
So it's an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
To where your body attacks itself. So all the nerves and stuff in your body is always fighting with each other. So sometimes I'll go from feeling like, I can walk across the world to sometimes I barely have enough energy to get out of bed and have to crawl around my house. It's started like back in probably like 4 years ago when I was working for the railroad. I noticed my leg would get like a random shock every like 5 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking into that, and people are like, dude, your walking's weird. And then I was like, I don't know. So I didn't want to go to the doctor because I didn't want to hear the news. So after I went to multiple doctors, they're like, you think you might have MS? So I never knew what it was, and I started looking into it, and I'm like, I have every one of these symptoms that it says comes with MS, but it's weird, man. It's been so tricky trying to just figure out how to adjust to life. Man, I went from being able to run a mile in under 5 minutes to I can barely walk. So it's been way crazy.
That's something that I mean, going to high school and stuff with you, I remember, you always running, being fast and doing backflips and, all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's got to be a major adjustment for you.
Dude, it's crazy. It's so sad and just like different emotions, but at the same time, it could be worse. So I just try to make the best out of it. But yeah, being super active to not, it's definitely been a game changer.
Yeah.
But could be worse.
I want to mention, for some reason, every time my friends and I get together, a story that comes up about Tommy.
Oh shit! I already know this one. Listen up, it's gonna be good.
Every Friday at wrestling practice, we'd play some sort of game, and a lot of times it would be either
Smear the queer.
I don't know. Yeah, I was trying to think of a more PC way to say that, but
That's what it was
one
called.
day, one day we were playing dodgeball, and I think you were a freshman, right? What year did you graduate? 2011. So you were a freshman when we were seniors, and Denver Householder crossed the room through a dart and got you right in the cajones.
Oh yeah. I tried jumping, dodge it, and it
jumped
it
right
got
into
me.
it.
Yeah.
What kind of balls did they play with?
Just
Volleyballs.
Volleyballs.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Those are rough,
very,
man.
very
Denver House
painful.
over there throwing a fastball. It's kind of quick.
Yeah.
And Tommy being 5 foot, 100 pounds. It was funny though, yeah.
It's just funny because it happened almost 20 years ago, and
Dude.
it still comes up almost every time we get together.
Gosh.
So
Yeah, no, I deserved it.
it probably still hurts just as bad.
Yeah, no, it's chill, but yeah, that hurt for sure. I don't know if you ever got hit in the nuts, but
We've all been there, man.
I don't think I've taken a freaking Denver Householder fastball too.
like
So
volleyball going
thank
across the
goodness.
room is 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah.
But
But,
anyway, yeah, I always get a good chuckle out of that. But yeah, I mean, if can you go into, so you got this event coming up, and I know I'm really excited about it. How did that come about, and what is
So
what's the
my
format? Yeah, just
What's it
tell,
about? Yeah.
tell us
so my English teacher last couple semesters ago, I had to give a speech in one of my public speaking classes, and I invited her to it, and she came and watched it. It was a pretty dope speech. And then she's like, yo, you should give that speech for the whatever, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, tell it to one of the teachers of the college and they can promote it and then you can give it. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. So then she calls me the other day and she's like, hey, there's this unity in the community. She asked me if I'd mind speaking there. And I was like, what is it? She's like, it's just bringing everyone together, kind of how we can better each other, whatever. So I'm just like, you want Tommy Christensen to speak in front of the college, representing EAC. And she started laughing, no, you'll do great, blah, blah, blah. And she brought up my public speaking speech. And I talked about my diagnosis, having a good attitude, life could be worse. And I guess that really caught her attention, so that's what she wanted me kind of to speak on a little bit. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of what it's about.
So are you, at this event, are you like the sole speaker, or are there going to be other speakers, or just Tommy?
No, it's just me. There was supposed to be another person, a student, or a teacher, and there was 3 different people that bailed. So she's like, do you want to speak? I'm like, just me? She's like, yeah. I'm like, shit, all right, whatever. So,
Have you ever done anything like this before, other than at your public speaking class?
no.
Do you feel like that class has prepared you for for what you're about to do? Because I'd be nervous. I'd be nervous to.
I don't know. I've never really got nervous with public speaking. Speaking in general, I just kind of say whatever I want, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But now this will be good. It's funny. I call some people out in a respectful way, but no, I'm excited. It's weird because these last couple of weeks, I've been thinking hardcore about pride, and there's just a lot of prideful people out there. Not saying I'm perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm probably the most prideful guy I know, but I was just like, especially at the college, going to school every day, you see, again, not trying to call no one out, but you just see very many different attitudes and the way people act and stuff. And yes, everyone's raised different, but this pride thing was on my mind real bad these last couple of weeks. And then she called me and asked if I wanted to speak on, pride and attitude, unity in the community. So I'm like, yeah, this all goes together. So I put some words together that I think can help a lot of people out. And I told the lady, the teacher that asked me, I was like, yo, have you ever had a fresh start in life? And she's like, yeah. I was like, how'd it feel? She's like, good. I'm like, I want every person at EA to hear this speech. And I'm like, so I feel like it can help out a lot of people. And I was like, would you be willing to, with whoever in your class comes to hear it, give them a new start, fresh start after spring break with the perfect grade? And then she was like, yeah. And I was like, I mean, that's something I'd be willing to do too if I was a teacher. But there's a lot of teachers that aren't going to be able to do that. But what I want them to ask them is if they'll offer a astronomical amount of extra credit, something that would be stupid to give up the...
To not go, yeah.
So I want everyone to hear it. And the Lilo Theater holds 300 people. Now I want standing room only. Standing room only.
So are you talking to other teachers? And
me and this teacher are going to send an email out come next Monday and just throw in the choice option, whatever.
Yeah. Is it only for EAC students, or can anybody in the community go to it?
Anyone in the community can go to it. So
And is it? I mean, do you buy tickets like you do like one like or
no, I think you just show up.
just show up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
How
pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
so you've already got it written.
Oh
You're
yeah,
not.
I had
yeah.
it in like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. We watched the UFC fights a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I think I saw you showing your dad the speech. Is that
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it's like 9 pages. I pretty much have it memorized.
How long is it?
20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
To give it, no, I'm not nervous. I mean,
No?
I say
Okay.
that right now, but I don't know. I just get up there and talk, and
Yeah.
kind of whatever comes out, it either gets me in trouble or not. And I've been in trouble my whole life, I feel like, so
You're not worried
I'm
about
fine.
it.
Yeah, no. Just a walk in the park.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, I told you.
Well-
told you. You asked me.
So it must have been a pretty impressive speech, because you said you originally gave it in your public speaking class, or at least a portion of it, a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so this teacher remembered that. At that time, I'm just curious, like how long was that speech, and how much have you had to add to it because of this this
that
specific event?
That speech was like 6, 7 minutes, and I was crying like a damn baby, so it ended up being like 10 minutes. But I've added probably like another 10 minutes to it.
That's a solid strategy to add a little bit of time. Just
Mm-hmm.
get choked up a little bit. And
Yeah.
I got a funny story about
No,
that.
this is crazy. I was actually told a story in it of and when I've told this story like I don't know, maybe 100 times. But this one time in class when I was telling it, emotions got brought back up of when I got pulled over by the cop and got given a DUI falsely. I mean, breathalyzer, everything was good. There's nothing found in the car. So I was very wrongly accused, and emotions got brought up of how mad I was at that instance. That's why I started crying, whatever.
Why? Tell us about that.
Yeah,
I
can
mean,
you go into that?
Was that?
I've never heard this story.
Yeah, was that something was that related to MS? And he just assumed you were.
Yeah, so I guess I was coming home from a party. I was actually DD driving my friend home, and it's like 1 in the morning. We get pulled over, and it's a good buddy from high school that I graduated with. And you remember Ben Shism?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was him, and he starts questioning me, has me get out. This is before like I knew my MS,
Okay.
whatever. So did the breathalyzers, passed that, started walking the line, doing a bunch of different tests, and was having trouble with that. And then I think that was kind of how my coordination issue, because now I can barely stand up. So trying to walk the line, do all these tests, they were like, something's going on. And I knew something was going on too, but I couldn't really tell. And then there was, like I said, nothing found in the vehicle. So they were just fishing for something. Blood work came back, everything was clean. Cop got off the hook, scotch-free. Cost me a couple $1,000, but it was chill.
There's nothing on your record or anything though.
No.
That's, I mean, a couple $1,000 sucks still though. That's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
crazy. You would think that, man, that's unfortunate that just because you were having a hard time walking. I mean, obviously there's other things that cause that than being intoxicated. So that's
Yeah.
crazy that they still kind of push the envelope on that. Huh.
Oh, yeah.
I've never even considered that to be something you would have to worry about.
Shouldn't have to, yeah. that's
Especially
crazy.
in your position, not even knowing, not even having the diagnosis yet, and that's. I imagine it's probably one of the things that drove you to, beyond your symptoms, drove you to like seek, like
Figure out what was
medical
going
help.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It all worked out, but in the moment it sucked.
Yeah.
Got taken out of work immediately. 2 weeks, no pay. Had to do multiple AA meetings, counseling sessions. A 16-hour DUI class from my phone. I wasn't reimbursed for anything. Again, 2 weeks, no pay. It sucked, but it worked out.
That's crazy.
So
Anyway, so when you were giving that speech, that brought up some emotions, and that
Oh, for
caused,
sure.
yeah, I was gonna. So this isn't my story, but it's a funny one. My brother Trey on his mission when he served in the Philippines, and when they their last zone conference, whatever, their last conference together, he was up there talking, and he kind of started talking about people and was naming people by name, and he got to one person. He started telling a story about him, but he couldn't remember his name, and he started to acted like he was getting emotional, and then finally the name came back to him, but he bought himself some time by pretending like he was getting emotional. And I mean, I don't know. I think that the guy came up after him afterwards and was like, I didn't realize we were so close, or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, emotions. It's a good way to cover some things up.
Yeah. I've definitely been in that situation, but I'm not a good fake crier or anything, so I don't think it would work for me.
So, 6 to 10 minutes before, now you're at 20. I mean, I think that's difficult to do, to add that much, content. So did you just are you telling your story in the speech, or is it more of just like your new outlook on life? What are you kind of talking about?
Kind of all the above.
Yeah.
And it's all the story, my new outlook, talk about, attitude, how it could be worse. I talk about a lot of random things, but when you bring it all together, it's mostly about attitude and pride. You could sum the whole thing up like that. But
is there going to be an opportunity for people to do like a Q&A with you, or is it just you give or do you know?
Don't ask, don't tell.
I can't wait.
No,
I'm going to ask you the most embarrassing questions.
I never thought about that shit. The answers y'all get. I'm like a loose cannon, dude. I never know what I'm going to say. Then when I do, it comes out total opposite, being a complete cluster. I'm serious, dude. But, now that'd be cool, a Q&A. And,
I bet it's probably up to you. I bet if you...
I mean, if you want, ask away, but don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to.
Yeah.
Because who's ever there, they might get offended or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, yeah, when I got to keep it respectful.
Yeah.
As well. So...
Yeah. By the way, who, if you don't mind sharing, who's the teacher that...
Her name is Marianne Larson.
Oh, cool. I know Marianne.
Dude, she's so
awesome.
dope.
Yeah.
What does she teach? She teaches English? Okay, so she wasn't your public speaking teacher.
She's my English teacher.
Okay.
She's the only reason I passed that class. She's such a nice lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So me and her are pretty good friends. I'll go every Friday and sit there for a couple hours and just talk with her, whatever.
Yeah. So without giving away too much that's in the speech, I mean, what is going through something like this? Obviously it's a life-changing, what do you call it? It's a condition, I guess, that you have now. What is your new outlook on life? Like, how has that changed? Obviously, you've changed because of it, but what other causes, what other life outlooks has it changed with what's going on?
It's definitely brought like depression, confidence. It's not for the better. Just like, because I've always been super active and talented, flips, whatever I want. And now I can barely, walk. So it's hard to kind of get past the thought of going anywhere public, having people judge me or like, what's that guy's problem? It's like, no, dude, I used to be like a badass, not the best of the best, but I was definitely coordinated, and now I'm not. But it hasn't affected my personality. That's what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But like even trying to like ask girls on dates, it's like, bro, they was gonna want to go on a date with someone on a scooter. But I don't know, it's chill. I don't know, it's been a learning curve for sure.
Yeah.
So, and I've also had to change my diet completely. Like, pretty much like vegan, I guess you'd say. No meat, no dairy, no candy, no sugar.
Really? Like that is doctor's orders, or that's
Yeah, doctor's orders, and I've noticed eating super healthy makes my body feel way better.
yeah.
So it's like if I eat meat, my body, people, protein, it's like my body gets very stiff or I twitch. But if I eat vegetables, I mean, that's still protein and lentils and beans, I feel a lot better. So they say sugar is the number one drug, worse than meth, worse than, whatever. So bad sugar, but then there's good sugar too. So I ate a lot of bad sugar, and I think that might have been the reason why it kind of did what I did to myself. Or
That's what I was gonna ask. Do they know what causes it? Like, I don't know anything about MS.
they don't really know kind of what causes it. I mean, I'm sure they do. It could be stress, which I've had a lot of stress in my life, and I haven't had the worst life for sure. But just like my thoughts are crazy. If you could see inside my mind, you would be like, "What the?" But if you could see my heart, you'd be like, "All right, this guy's chill. We'll let him stay for real." So I don't know if it's the stress or like I fell off a 20-foot roof, and I don't know if that caused the exasperations or whatever.
When did that happen? Tell us that story.
2017, I was up on a shingle removing roofs, and I was on the edge, and I was going to step on a spot to remove more, and I knew I was going to slip, but I was like, whatever. So I stepped, and I just slid off the roof, and then smacked the ground, and I missed the AC unit by like 4 inches, whatever. But yeah, that was.
Was that up
pretty
in
crazy.
Colorado, or is that
No, that was here in Thatcher.
really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember hearing about that.
And I fell off a railroad car too and smacked my head pretty hard when I used to work for the railroad. So I don't know if that made the symptoms
Right.
progress even faster. And then stress, if that makes it progress faster. I overthink a lot of stuff, so.
When you
But,
fell
but
off,
it's a sorry
No,
to
you're
cut
good.
you off. It's a genetic.
Yeah,
It's not something that like you did to cause you.
No, yeah, I think it is genetic too, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know too much what my biological parents had. So
Right.
yeah.
But
I know
mean,
my
even if
biological
it's,
dad
if
had
it's not
diabetes.
like hereditary, it's something that caused by genes, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but you're saying that like there could have been things to exasperate it.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. And what I mean, as besides like a healthy diet, what other treatments are there?
Meditation. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that's the two I try to focus on is meditation and healthy eating.
Hmm.
But my brother sends me a lot of podcasts, and they're great.
Which one? Which
This
brother?
guy, his name is Derek. I don't know what his name is. I don't know, but he's super famous, and he gives these speeches where people come and listen to him, and they walk out of there, without a cane, or they don't have to have a wheelchair to get out or something. And I've listened to them, and they're pretty inspiring, but I don't know if it didn't work for me or obviously, or if I'm just not thinking positive or whatever. But they're they're pretty cool.
Do you feel like generally from talking to you right now and from what I know about you, I get the impression that you have a pretty positive outlook about it. I mean, is that a fair assessment, or
Yeah, I notice whenever I get mad or agitated, whatever, my body gets worse, like real bad.
Yeah.
So I try just to be positive mostly, and that seems to help me. But let me tell you, some days,
Hard to do.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
some moments or whatever. Being around my dad sometimes, dude, he pisses me off so bad. Me and him were like fire and gas.
Does he do it intentionally, do you think?
For sure. For sure. Both of us do. But I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to try not to argue with my dad. But dude, he just sometimes, if you know, you know. He's a good guy. Don't get me wrong.
Chad's a great guy.
He's got my
Sometimes that's
back.
just like dads in general. They just, without intending to, they just say things that you're like, you were the dumbest person. No offense to my dad. My dad is one of the smartest people I know, but we've been building a house, and from time to time I would have him come help me do different things, and he would try to give me ideas to do stuff, and I'm like, that. Why would anybody do that ever?
I think it's very natural for sons and dads to butt heads. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I know about Chad, though, I can see him getting under your skin intentionally.
For sure.
Chad's,
I mean, we'll say like every word in the book at each other, and then a minute later, it's like we're Care Bears and rainbows. It's weird. But no, he's a good guy. I love him.
Yeah.
He puts up with me, so that's all I can ask for.
He's one of my favorite people to golf with.
Oh my gosh. He's funny. He's fun to golf with.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I am excited for this speech. I'll definitely be there.
No, it's gonna be fun.
March 27th, so next Friday
Yeah.
at
11 a.m. Next Thursday.
Thursday. Sorry. Yeah,
11 a.m.
11 a.m.
And you don't have to buy tickets online or anything. You just show up and go. And
Yeah.
okay, I'm definitely gonna go too. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, and I'm what's the word? I'm envious, honestly, because I know that if I was in your position right now giving a speech, I would be super nervous. I'm not trying to make you nervous or anything,
I'm pumped
but
because there's been something I've always wanted to do for like the last 15 years, but I had to be the center of attention with 300, 400, 500 people. So I have this opportunity now, so I'm gonna do it. Hopefully it works out. It's gonna be dope, but yeah.
that's awesome, man.
That's cool. I don't think either of you have ever seen this be done, so
What do you mean?
it's a little thing I'm gonna do, I guess. Do you want me to tell you what
I
it
don't
is?
know.
That's up to you. Yeah, if it's a surprise or
wait.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
like it's like a trick or what? Like
It's not a trick. It's just like a cool little, like a 30-second thing. I'll just tell you real quick. I don't know if you want to cut it from the podcast.
it's honestly up to you. I mean, if you don't
So-
want
Or
to,
do you want to
hear-
wait
Yeah,
until?
I'll just tell you guys. But
Well, should we? No. Should we wait?
Tell us after we
until
stop.
Tell us after
let
we
us stop
stop.
talking
After we
first,
stop?
and then tell us.
Alright,
Yeah, that way
alright.
we don't ruin it or don't ruin the surprise for the people.
Okay.
So
coming.
let's wrap this up. And
Yeah. And then I'll tell the Chad story that I want to tell you guys too.
and I'll tell my chat story, and then you can. Well, I'll take turns. Just the roast of Chad, roast of Tom Brady. Now screw Tom Brady. Chad Christensen.
Yeah. And
You
so
know the
Chad,
name,
you're
you
welcome
know.
for cutting the video before we start telling these stories. So, well, cool, man. Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap it up?
There's a lot. I don't know if it'll get me in trouble or get you in trouble or whatever or stories I have to tell. No, we're good.
Okay.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you taking some time out of your day to.
No, I appreciate
come
being
do
here.
this.
This is
We're-
cool.
We're
It's
excited
cool.
for next week and hope it goes really well. I'm sure it will. Sounds like you're prepared already.
I hope
so.
I just see shit going up there in front of everyone. Hope I fall over.
It's
be
always a
great.
good contingency
Oh, yeah.
plan, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's March 27th, Lee Little Theater, on the EA campus at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday.
Thursday.
So if you're
March
gonna be there,
27th.
get there early, because I've put everyone in my contacts, told them and their spouses, so it's over at least 150, 200 people.
I saw it on
and then
Facebook. Yeah.
students. So, like I said, I'm telling the teacher to send out email to all of the teachers of throwing that idea of a fresh start or a lot of extra credit, because there's a lot of people I feel need to hear this speech, that it can help them. So, words are powerful is what they say.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, we'll certainly promote it any way we can. So
No, I appreciate that.
And now we know there's
That's
a
dope.
little 30-second surprise in there for us. So
Dude,
we're looking
it's
for
gonna
that.
be badass, I'm telling you. So dope.
That's awesome. Let's turn these off so you can tell.
Like Gucci.